The story begins with a boy who, in a careless moment, swung a stick at his best friend. He never expected it to actually hit him, but when his friend collapsed to the ground, motionless, the boy froze in shock. At first, he thought it was just a prank, that his friend was pretending. But as he stepped closer, his trembling hands revealed the horrible truth. His closest companion was dead. Terrified, the boy bolted. But only a few steps in, he stopped. His racing mind slowed, and an even darker thought crept in. If anyone found out, his future would be ruined. No one could ever know what happened here. So, with a cold resolve, he dragged the body into a deep crevice hidden in the forest and shoved it down, convinced no one would ever discover it. The area was deserted for miles. Who would even think to look? Trying to steady his nerves, he hurried away. But panic struck again when he saw a car approaching on the road. His guilty conscience made him hide behind a tree until the danger passed. When he finally made it home, his relief was cut short. His jacket had been torn while dragging the body, leaving a clear mark. To avoid suspicion, he quickly shoved it under his bed, praying his parents wouldn't notice. That evening, there was a knock at the door. His friend's mother stood there, frantic, asking if he had seen her son. With nerves of steel, he lied, claiming the boy went the other way. Desperate and heartbroken, she searched every corner of the town but found nothing. She had no idea her child was already buried deep within the forest. The next morning, chaos broke out in the neighborhood. Police and townsfolk gathered outside, searching for the missing boy. News stations broadcasted the disappearance, warning parents to keep their children close. Rumors spread quickly. Some believed human traffickers had come to town. The boy who caused it all, Nick, kept silent, his pale face betraying his inner fear. His mother misread his behavior, assuming he was only upset about his friend's disappearance, never suspecting her son had become a killer. The investigation soon turned to Nick. Officers questioned him, but despite his calm expression, his mind was in pieces. He denied everything, insisting he hadn't seen his friend that day. But then, a knock on the door changed everything. Another officer whispered that there were witnesses who saw Nick walking into the woods with the missing boy. Nick's heart nearly stopped. Thinking fast, he adjusted his story. Yes, he admitted, he had gone into the woods, but he claimed he was alone. He swore he never saw his friend there. His innocent appearance bought him some time, and the truth remained hidden. But the dark chain of events had started earlier. That afternoon, Nick had gotten into an argument with a neighbor after their dog barked at him endlessly. Frustrated, he tossed a tennis ball into the road. The dog chased after it and was struck dead by a speeding car. The grieving owner accused Nick, but he refused to take responsibility. Enraged, the owner's son followed Nick into the forest, and that confrontation ended with Nick's deadly swing. As the search intensified, police organized a massive sweep of the surrounding forest. Under mounting pressure, Nick reluctantly joined the volunteers, staying at the back of the group, praying no one would stumble across the hidden body. His fear grew as the search party drew closer to the very spot where he had concealed the body. Just as it seemed they might find it, night fell. The search was postponed until morning, with police planning to bring in drones and tracking dogs. Nick nearly collapsed at the thought. That night, desperate and shaking, he stuffed his mouth with pills to calm himself. But his nightmare only deepened when he discovered his torn jacket, the one he had hidden under the bed, was gone. Someone had taken it. His mother, already suspicious, began piecing things together. Though she didn't confront him, she silently wondered if her son had done something terrible. Then, as if fate itself wanted to expose him, the night turned violent. A sudden storm struck the town. Raging winds, blinding lightning, and torrential rain battered everything. Trees fell, power lines snapped, and floodwaters surged. Nick and his mother barely escaped as the rising water burst into their home, forcing them upstairs for safety. When the storm finally passed, the town was in ruins, with hundreds dead and the community focused on survival. For Nick, this chaos was both a curse and a blessing. While the town struggled to rebuild, the search for the missing boy was put on hold. Seizing the opportunity, Nick quietly returned to the forest, staring at the devastation the storm had left behind. The forest was torn apart, and his carefully hidden secret was now dangerously exposed. Nick thought the storm had buried his dark secret forever. The forest was destroyed, the evidence hidden deep beneath the rubble. Time moved on. 20 years passed, and the memory of the missing boy faded from the town's collective mind. Only his grieving family still carried the pain. Nick, meanwhile, had transformed his life. He became a respected doctor, admired by the community, and even found himself a beautiful girlfriend. He believed the past was gone, lost in time. But fate, as always, had other plans. As the town underwent a massive redevelopment project, the fallen trees in the forest were cleared away. Nick's stomach turned to stone when he saw the workers approaching the very spot where he had once hidden the body. His calm facade cracked. That night, under the cover of darkness, he returned with tools in hand. He had one desperate mission: destroy the last remnants of his crime. When he reached the crevice, dread washed over him. The boy's jacket was still there, clinging to the rocks after 2 decades, decayed but not erased. Nick tried to hook it out with a shovel, praying to finish the job, but before he could, the voices of nearby loggers sent him fleeing into the night. Moments after he vanished, one of the workers spotted something strange in the stones, and the terrible secret finally surfaced. The next day, the sheriff gathered the entire town. With grim certainty, he announced the truth. The remains of the missing boy had been recovered. Forensic analysis proved it was no accident. The boy had been murdered, struck in the temple with a blunt object, perhaps a rock or stick. Even worse, a single strand of hair was found on the boy's clothing. It didn't belong to him. DNA testing confirmed it came from a brown-haired white male. Nick felt his blood run cold. The boy's father erupted with rage, demanding DNA tests for everyone in town. But the sheriff dampened his fury. The killer might not even be a local, he explained. Testing everyone would waste years and resources. Instead, the strand of hair would be stored in the national DNA database. Whenever the killer's DNA surfaced, he would be caught. Maybe in years, maybe in decades. Until then, justice would wait. Nick exhaled in shaky relief. As long as he never submitted his DNA, his secret was safe, or so he thought. The very next day, his mother's close friend paid him a visit. Handing Nick a small package, he revealed something chilling. Inside was Nick's wristwatch, the same one he had lost 20 years ago while hiding the body. The man admitted he had been the passing driver that night. He never saw the body, but when the boy's disappearance hit the news the next day, he suspected Nick. Over the years, his suspicion grew into certainty, and yet he never turned Nick in, not out of mercy, but because of love. He had always cared for Nick's mother and didn't want to break her heart. Now, as he prepared to leave town forever, he left Nick to wrestle with his own conscience. Nick was shaken, but his life twisted further when his girlfriend revealed she was 3 months pregnant. At first, he refused to believe it was his, but when she suggested a DNA test to prove the truth, panic surged through him. He had no choice but to accept the child, and in a cruel twist of fate, his girlfriend was the sister of the very boy he had killed 2 decades earlier. Her parents, Nick's future in-laws, were the grieving mother and father who had searched endlessly for their son. Nick had escaped the law, but not his guilt. Every time he looked into their eyes, he saw the boy he had taken from them. The family welcomed him, never knowing the truth. While Nick carried a secret that gnawed at his soul, he would live the rest of his life in the shadow of his crime, haunted by the ghost of the child he betrayed, trapped in a prison of his own making. And so the story closes. If you enjoyed this suspenseful story, don't forget to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel for more thrilling movie recaps. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.